Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the December 2014 Baccalaureate, Graduate, and Law Commencement exercises of Hofstra University. The program begins with the invocation delivered by Reverend Gregory Ranazizi from the university's Board of Chaplains, followed by the national anthem and our alma mater, led by Deanna Grunberg, class of 2015. The words to the alma mater are on the inside front cover. Will everyone please stand? Thank you.
We join our hearts and bow our heads in a moment of prayer. Almighty and merciful God, we thank you for the opportunity to gather this morning to celebrate the accomplishments of so many. In the beginning of time, you ordered the world by first bringing forth light from darkness. At the pinnacle of your creative process, you formed the human family to share your ability to know, to reason, to enter into meaningful relationships. In short, to be like you. As we gather to celebrate academic and personal achievements, we ask you to renew within each one of us the desire to be your light in a world so often shrouded in darkness. This light, we know, is the knowledge given to us by you, the source of all that is. Let us be your light in the field of the sciences and the arts, law and medicine, education and social service. May our light shine forth brightly in the classroom and laboratory, the clinic and the courthouse, the markets, and most importantly of all, in our homes. May the accomplishments we recognize in this moment be translated into great works of love for all those we encounter, especially the weak and vulnerable in our midst. We thank you for the countless ways you have guided us to this moment, for the support of family, friends, professors, counselors, coaches, heroes, and role models from our youth. Bless all those who have made this day possible because of their selfless sacrifices, many of which perhaps we are unaware of. May our lives, bearing witness to the light of truth and knowledge, always aim to fulfill the prayer of a poor man from the hills outside of Rome nearly 800 years ago. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is truly in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying to self that we are promised eternal life. All this we ask in your holy and awesome name, you who live and reign as the one true God, forever and ever. Amen.
Oh
Please be seated. My pleasure now to make some very, very special introductions, beginning with the representative of our Board of Trustees, the former chair of the board, Janice Meyer, JD class of 1981. And now let me introduce the deans of Hofstra University. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause till all the names are read. Dean Ronald Bloom from the School of Health Sciences and Human Services. Associate Dean Ronald Colombo from the Maurice A. Dean School of Law. Dean Evan Cornard from the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication. Dean Sean Finelli from the School of Education. Dean Bernard J. Firestone from the Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dean Warren Frazina from Honors College. Vice Dean Diane Herbert from the School for University Studies. Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies, Cliff Jernigan. Dean Sina Rabbani from the School of Engineering and Applied Science, and Dean Patrick Sochi from the Zarb School of Business. Now, representing the shared governance tradition of Hofstra University, the chair of our University Senate Executive Committee, Stuart Bass, and now the one person on our campus who needs no introduction, the president of Hofstra University, President Stuart Rabinowitz.
Good morning. You look gorgeous. Members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, administration, distinguished guests, but most importantly, members of the Hofstra University class of 2014 and their proud family and friends. Welcome to this mid-year commencement exercise. I want to make clear at the outset that I do not view commencement ceremonies as solemn, regimented rituals. Unfortunately, it will also not be an occasion for me to finally reveal to you the secret of everlasting happiness. I would if I could, but as much as I would like to do that, I have come to believe that the secret of happiness is different for each one of us, and that we need to discover our own path to fulfillment. As to giving you advice on other life issues, I will leave that task to our superbly qualified commencement speaker, but with one brief exception, one bit of my own advice which has been given many, many times in many, many ways, but obviously, like all advice, it's much easier to give than to follow. So here it is. As you know, this ceremony may mark the end of your education at Hofstra University, but it is anything but an ending. It is the start of a journey, one that will take you through all the joy and sorrow and all the triumphs and failures that life has to offer. So my advice to you is to relish in the journey. Try to view each day as a gift. Try to live each day fully as an end in itself. Try not to become so preoccupied with getting somewhere, with achieving some cherished goal on some faraway day, that you somehow fail to appreciate the fact that you are here every day. But as I said, today's ceremony is not an opportunity to give you extensive advice. Rather, at its core, this is a very simple celebration. That's what it is. We are here to celebrate the accomplishments and the hard work of the graduates and the sacrifices that have been made on their behalf by family and friends. And we also celebrate the many future options and opportunities that all of that work and all of those sacrifices have afforded to the graduates, who today will acquire one of the very, very rare assets in life which will never, ever depreciate in value, your Hofstra degrees. Indeed, we are confident that those degrees will surely increase in value throughout your careers. And we make a solemn promise to you that we will continue to do everything in our power to enhance the stature and reputation of Hofstra University and hence the value of your degrees. By far, My most important message to our graduates is very, very simple, but very, very heartfelt. You have earned our congratulations and our admiration. You have worked hard, you have learned well, and you are ready to make your mark on the world. We take pride in you and your accomplishments, and so should you. I close these brief comments as I have closed every graduation speech for the last 15 years as president. 14. By wishing our graduates well. I wish each of you all the success you think you need in life and all that work and ability earned for you. I wish you the perspective to forgive yourself and learn from the inevitable mistakes, because they are inevitable. I wish you the tenacity and the courage and, frankly, the good fortune to someday find a life's work about which you feel passionate, rather than just settling for one which neither challenges nor fulfills you. I wish you the very special sense of satisfaction and self-worth that I have found comes only from using at least some of your talent and some of your energy to help others, especially those who are in need. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, I wish you the wisdom not to forego the love of family and friends in a relentless pursuit of material success. For as comedian Lily Tomlin once aptly observed, the trouble with the rat race is that even if you win that race, you will still be a rat. The class of 2014 leaves here with our admiration and with our affection. We enjoyed teaching you, and we enjoyed learning from you. We hope that you will maintain your ties to your classmates and to your alma mater. From this day forward, you will always be a graduate of Hofstra University, and your accomplishments will always be the most important driver of the reputation of the value of a Hofstra education. You will always be an important member of this community, and Hofstra will always welcome you home. On behalf of the faculty, the administration, and the staff, I extend to each of you our heartiest congratulations and our warmest wishes for your success and your happiness. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to now introduce a great United States Senator and a great friend of Hofstra University, Senator Charles Schumer.
I'm glad you cut out the introduction. Well, thank you, Provost Berliner. And before I begin, it's a happy day, but it's a sad moment in New York history. I think it's only appropriate to pay our respects to the families of the two brave police officers who lost their lives in a brutal and despicable murder. They were murdered simply because of who they were. New York police officers who protected us and defended us bravely, as our men and women in blue throughout the New York area always do, risking their lives to keep us safe. We mourn them, we pray for their families, and we pledge to do everything we can to make certain this never, ever happens again. Now, it is truly my honor to be here today and address President Rabinowitz, who has done a great job in making Hofstra one of the best universities, not just in Long Island and not just in New York State, but in the entire country. The members of the dais, the friends and families of the graduates, but most of all, you, the class of 2014, Hofstra, congratulations. It's your day. Now, first, I'd like to announce my class gift. As you know, it's hard to pay for college and graduate school. And if you're poor, the federal government helps you out. That's a good thing. But what about the middle class? So a few years ago, I wrote a law, it's now on the books, that says you or your parents, whoever paid for college or graduate school, can take as a full tax credit $2,500 off your federal taxes for every year of college or graduate school, provided, there's always a provided in Washington, provided your family income is below $200,000 a year. So, for those of you who come from families who make below $200,000, make sure you or mom or dad takes that tax credit. Last year, about a quarter of all people who were entitled to it didn't do it because it's new, relatively new. And if you forgot to do it, say junior, freshman, and sophomore years, you can send a form to the IRS and get $7,500 back. Not bad for a class gift. Now, what happens if you come from a family who makes above $200,000 a year? God bless you. I'd like to say a word to the moms and dads. I know how you feel. It wasn't too long ago that my wife Iris and I sat where you did and watched our daughter Jessica come up on the stage and get her diploma. It was one of the greatest days of our life. And if you're like us, you think back to the tough times. We remembered when Jessica was just 4 months old. She had 106.5 fever. We rushed her to the hospital. We didn't think she'd make it, but praise God she did. We remembered when we put her on the kindergarten bus and the first day of kindergarten. And as the bus pulled away, she ran to the back of the bus, waved goodbye out the back window, tears streaming down her little cheeks. But at 2 o'clock, when Iris went to meet her, when the bus returned, she jumped off the bus happy as could be. She said, "Mommy, I came back." When we talked to her, we realized what she thought. She thought it was new family, new neighborhood, new everything. And then we remembered Jessie as a teenager, where she didn't say much to us, and when she did, we didn't understand a word she said. And then moms, dads, you watch your daughters and sons come up on the stage, get the diploma, and become an adult before your very eyes. Congratulations to the moms and dads. Job well done. Now, to this great class, and I do want to congratulate our honorary degree recipients, a great person who's an urban farmer, Will Allen, who you'll hear from shortly, and my dear friend, our retiring assembly member who's represented the 5 towns in Long Beach and part of Long Island so well for so long, Harvey Weisenberg. Congratulations to you, Harvey. Now, to the class of 2014. You know, you're graduating with many advantages. I'm going to focus on 2. The first is the education you've gotten here at Hofstra. Because Hofstra is so outstanding, and because only about 1/3 of all the people your age ever get a 4-year college degree, you are graduating with a leg up on most of the young people, young men and women who are graduating this year. That gives you one advantage. And you have a second big advantage. You are the first generation to be brought up amidst all of this new technology. In 1988, a few years before most of you were born, that was the first year the word internet was ever seen in print. There was no Google and no Facebook and no Twitter and no text messaging, no emails, no LOL. In 1994, it may have been the year a few of you were born, there were only 12 websites on the World Wide Web. That's it, 12. Now there are 14 billion. It shows you how quickly technology is changing our world. And it's your world, not mine or your parents'. We try to struggle with all this new technology, but we're learning it as adults. But to you, it's a natural. You were born into it. Technology is to your generation as water is to a fish. You've been swimming in it your whole lives. So the fact that you've gotten this great education at Hofstra, and the fact that you're the first generation to grow up immersed in all this new technology means one thing. Now is the time, if there ever was, to figure out your dream and reach high for it. Then, reach deep down inside yourself. See what you're made of. See if you can achieve that dream. My advice to the class of 2014 is simple. Go for it. Now, sometimes you'll make the wrong choice, but if my experience is any indication, you'll pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward. But if you make the right choice, with a lot of hard work and a little luck and some prayer, your life will be enriched forever. Now, I learned these lessons myself. When I was graduating from college, as many of you are here today, I learned that I had won a scholarship to travel all around the world, all expenses paid for a whole year. For me, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I had never been out of the country before. But at the same time, I met a girl, and I fell in love. Aww. So I ask you, what should I do? Should I go around the world on the all-expense-paid scholarship for a year? Yes. Yes. Or should I stay home with the girl, my first true love? I stayed home with the girl. Nope, don't clap yet. The story unfolds. That summer, she went on a brief vacation, and I went to the airport to meet her on her return. As soon as she got off the plane, I saw by the look on her face something was the matter. She dumped me by Labor Day. There I was, no scholarship, no trip around the world, no girl. I said to myself, what a loser you are. You're never going to make anything of yourself. And in fact, I stayed in my house for several months, moped around, felt sorry for myself. But somehow I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and moved forward. And a few years later, I found myself seated at graduation once again, this time from law school. But on the way home from law school, I told Mom and Dad I was not going to join the fancy law firm like we had planned. I told them my dream was politics. I wanted to run for office. My parents were shocked. My mother was particularly disappointed. You see, my parents struggled to help send me to college and law school. My father was an exterminator. He never went to college. And the law firm was paying $400 a week, more money than my family had ever seen in those days. But my dream was to run for office, and so that fall, at the age of 23, against very long odds, I ran for the New York State Assembly, and I had 3 opponents. There was the party machine candidate, there was a neighborhood activist, and then there was my mother, who was telling all her friends not to vote for me. So as she said, I get this dumb idea of being a politician out of my big, thick head. Well, graduates, a few years earlier, I didn't get that girl, but that November, I won the election. I've been an elected official for 40 years, and I love my job. So, on this day of your great achievement, my advice to you is the same advice I gave myself 40 years ago. Go for it. To this great class of 2014, congratulations. Good luck. Godspeed. You are the greatest.
Great speech by a great senator. It's now my pleasure to ask that Trustee Janice Meyer come forward with her candidate for an honorary degree, Harvey Weisenberg. And that Harvey step forward too.
Thank you, President Rabinowitz. Assemblyman Harvey Weisenberg has spent his professional life in public service. Before taking office to represent part of Nassau County's South Shore, he worked as a police officer in Long Beach and then as a teacher and educational administrator for more than 20 years. He was elected to the Assembly in 1989, and in the 25 years since then, he has authored and helped enact more than 300 bills. Assemblyman Weisenberg has had many successes, especially as an advocate for individuals with disabilities. He spearheaded an effort that resulted in restoration of $90 million to the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, he recently secured a cost of living salary increase for direct caregivers who work with New York's most vulnerable citizens. Assemblyman Weisenberg has been instrumental in establishing homes on Long Island for medically fragile children and a respite suite at Stony Brook University Hospital's Child Care Cancer Center. He authored legislation that resulted in increased penalties for DWI and hit-and-run drivers, and it mandated that automated external defibrillators be placed in schools and places of large public gatherings. He has also championed banning the administration of vaccines containing mercury, providing enhanced training for professionals working with children with autism and other disabilities, seeing that persons who are purchasing cemetery plots are given proper disclosure regarding pricing, and broadening awareness of skin cancer prevention. Assemblyman Weisenberg is an alumnus, having earned a Master's of Science in Education from Hofstra University in 1960. We also learned today that he was a mean basketball player in college, and they're on a basketball scholarship. Mr. President, for Harvey Weisenberg's leadership in local government and public service, I am pleased to present him to you now as a candidate for the Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
I would simply add to that at his young age, he is an active lifeguard on the South Shore. It is a pleasure and a source of pride to celebrate your achievements. You're a distinguished alumnus of this institution. For your many years of public service and your dedication and advocacy on behalf of individuals with disabilities, I am delighted to welcome you back to Hofstra and to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. This is a life experience that I'll treasure, my family will treasure forever. I want to share, it's interesting Senator Schumer told you his story, but I'm an elected official for only 38 years, and I was brought up by my family to go into public service, because I don't think anything, and I'm sharing this with you because the job that I had to be an elected official, to be able to impact the quality of life for so many people throughout the state of New York, which actually turned into a national policy for an advocate to put a face on the most vulnerable people, our special children and our special families who take care of special children, to understand what love is really all about. I loved my job because of the rewards of my job with the thank yous that you get for helping people. So I'm directing a wonderful handful of people here, large group if you will, to go out and really consider that dollars are not the most important thing in this world, but happiness is. Senator Schumer loved his job and does it well. I love my job, and I know other people that we've impacted. God blessed me with a special child. Couldn't cry, never spoke, and the love that we get from this child is just amazing. So I'm giving this to you as a thought. Really think about happiness, because so many people have jobs, and in our society today, they have a job, they want a better job. They have a house, they want a better house. They have a car, they want a bigger car. All you should do is thank God for what you have. And the most important thing I'm going to leave you with is what unconditional love is. Because if you take the time to put a face on our special children, then you become the voice of those children, and you can bring happiness to so many. Thank you, congratulations, and God bless you.
It's now my pleasure to ask Trustee Meyer once again to come forward with her candidate for a Doctor of Humane Letters degree, honoris causa, Will Allen.
Thank you, President Rabinowitz, again, and this man is a real mean basketball player. Will Allen, a recipient of a MacArthur Genius Grant, is the founder and CEO of Growing Power, Inc., a not-for-profit center for urban agriculture training and building community food security systems. He is recognized as a national leader in urban agriculture and food policy. In May 2010, Time magazine named him one of the, quote, 100 world's most influential people, unquote, and in 2011 he was named to Forbes magazine's World Power issue. Will Allen was raised on a small farm in Maryland. A standout basketball player, he became the first African-American scholarship athlete at the University of Miami, where he remains one of the university's all-time leaders in scoring and rebounding. After a brief career in professional basketball and several years in corporate marketing, Mr. Allen returned to his roots as a farmer. At Growing Power, Inc., and in community food projects across the nation and around the world, he promotes the belief that all people, regardless of their economic circumstances, should have access to fresh, safe, affordable, and nutritious foods. Through partnerships with local organizations, activities, internships, and workshops, Mr. Allen has engaged teens and young adults in producing healthy foods for their communities. Growing Power, Inc. also provides intensive hands-on training for those interested in establishing farming initiatives in other urban settings. In the fall of 2013, Mr. Allen came to Hofstra to address incoming freshmen who had been assigned to read his book, Good Food Revolution, as part of their orientation activities. The book and his visit were so inspiring that Hofstra's Sustainability Studies Club has established a garden in Mr. Allen's honor near one of our freshman residence halls. It should also be noted that today we have 3 sustainability studies majors among our commencement candidates. Mr. President, for Will Allen's leadership, philanthropy, and promotion of healthy lifestyles and green living, it is my honor to present him to you as a candidate for the Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
Will Allen, it's a pleasure to welcome you back to Hofstra. You have earned a place of high respect and international and national renown for your completely innovative work promoting healthful living and sustainability. It is my privilege and honor to bestow upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. Congratulations.
These things never work for me for some reason, but I'll try to make it work. I just want to thank Hofstra University, faculty, president, and all of those folks that made it possible for me to come here the first time and then the second time and today. You guys probably look up here and say, what did they invite a farmer to give the commencement speech? But I'll talk a little bit about that later. But I feel very honored to be here today to address you all. The last time I was here, I spoke for over an hour. I don't know if any of you were at my talk, but it was, I showed over 1,000, I think it was 1,071 slides about the history of our organization that goes back 22 years now, and talked about the food system and what's going on in our community in Milwaukee region, in Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin, where we operate, but pretty much the food system all over the world. And the reason that this is so important to you as I look out at you graduates, and I'm not going to spend an hour today because I see the look on your faces. You guys want to get out here and start the next phase of your lives. So I wouldn't do that to you. But I do want to talk for a few minutes about the food system because that's what I work. I'm a farmer first. I founded Growing Power organization. Tell you a little bit about it, what we do. In 1993. And it was the last remaining farm in the city of Milwaukee. And my whole thing was really about bringing my farming expertise from rural Wisconsin and all the things that have been passed down to me over 400 years, because as I was writing the Good Food Revolution, we went back over 400 years. My family has been involved in agriculture. And about 5 generations ago, most of the people in this room were connected to agriculture, but that all stopped. So as we look at our situation that we have in our country, around the world, that's part of the reason that we have this big disconnect and why we have to build a food system that works for everybody. Because our food is the most important thing in our lives. You know, just stop eating for a while and you'll find out. So our food is so important to our health and well-being. As a matter of fact, our food, our good food, and I want to preface this by saying good food, should be our medicine. And today we have communities in our country, communities in the state of New York, all over the world, that have food deserts, that have areas where people don't have access to good food, or sometimes no food. As a matter of fact, tonight, unfortunately, we'll have 3 out of 10 young people who go to bed without a meal in a country that has so much wealth. So, unfortunately, this is all falling on your generation because we have a lot of challenges. Senator Schumer talked about a couple of them this morning, the unfortunate incident that happened yesterday, that we have to be able to end poverty in America, poverty around the world, to be able to, so people can start getting to know each other. We need to be able to do that, and your generation, I feel, is the generation that's going to do that. Your generation is poised to be able to change some of these things. You've seen what happened. We have all the technology that Senator talked about that's out there. We can build these partnerships. When you all walk out here today, you're walking into a world that is a very diverse world. And being able to go to a university like this, I think you're poised to be able to go and deal with that diversity and to be able to make those connections, because that's what we're going to have to do to change things. Because I believe a strong food system, and I've seen this happen in the communities that I work with in Milwaukee, when good food is introduced to a community, everything changes. Crime goes down. People get good jobs. And one of the things that we need to do is make sure that the jobs that we create and the jobs that you all create in the future will be sustainable jobs, jobs that pay a living wage. Because this work that I do is really about not so much planting a plant in the ground, but it's about food justice, environmental justice, social justice, because we all should have the opportunity to eat good food. Every human on earth should be able to eat good food, and we can make that possible. I feel that your generation is going to be the generation that changes this, because you have to. You have no choice. You've been given these wonderful skills by all the professors and all of your peers and the people that came before you to be able to do this. And you have to do it because in your lifetime, there'll be another 3.1 billion people on earth for us to feed and to live with. And we want to make sure that we're living in safe communities. And the only way to live in a safe community is to make sure every sector of your city is a safe place to live. Because if we have one area in your cities that is affected by negative things, it's going to affect all of us. We've seen what has happened with diseases that are far away from us to come to our country, and we have to deal with it. So those are the things that you all have to think about. But the other thing is that you have been given this great opportunity to come to this university, and you come here representing your community. your parents, the people that didn't have the opportunity to come to this university or other universities. So you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. You're carrying a lot of people as you go out of here today. And one of the pieces of advice I'll give you is to give back. Go back to those communities that you come from or some community and give back. Because you're going to receive more than what you give. And it's going to help to energize you and keep you positive in terms of as you march through life. So I just wanted to just say a few words about that today in terms of our food system and how it's so important. It's something that you all should think about every time you have a meal, because we want you here for a long time. And I believe the only way for us to do that is to eat good food and really help develop the system. And whatever you do, you know, wherever you go after you leave here, just don't talk about things. Actually go out and do something. You know, become doers, because everybody can talk. You know, you need to go out and do something positive and improve your community so we don't have incidences like we had just a couple days ago and a few weeks ago. And we have to think about those people that have suffered. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and congratulations. Congratulations, and have some fun. I know you guys are going to have some fun tonight and a few days afterwards. You know, but don't forget about your peers. One of the regrets I had when I graduated University of Miami in '71, we didn't have the technology to Facebook and all that stuff to stay in touch with our peers, and now I'm trying to catch up with all my college guys and girls and so forth. But stay connected to your friends. Don't forget about your friends, because someday you'll regret that. So stay connected. Thank you very much.
So now we come to, by far, the most important part of the ceremony. In fact, it's the point of the ceremony, which is to confer degrees upon our graduates and to ask them to come up on the stage. For 14 years, why do I keep thinking I served 15 years already? It just feels like that, I know. For 14 years, I have had the honor and the privilege of shaking hands with every single graduate and wishing them well face to face on the stage. I deeply regret the fact that I won't be able to do that today. I have a torn rotator cuff in my right hand, my right arm, and my doctor has said, do not shake 600 hands, you'll be crying. I think I tore the rotator cuff by repeatedly stretching out my hand, asking for donations to Hofstra. But seriously, I really do regret that I won't be able to shake your hand on the stage and wish you well one-on-one. But know that I do wish you well, that I wish each of you happiness and success. So, Mr. Provost, let's start with the degrees.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science and Education, and Bachelor of Engineering degrees please stand? Mr. President, I have the honor to present those candidates from the Zarb School of Business, the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication, the School of Education, the School of Engineering and Applied Science, the School of Health and Human Services, and the Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, who have completed all the requirements for the bachelor's degree. I join with the faculty and the deans of our schools and colleges in recommending that you confer the appropriate degree upon these candidates.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Hofstra University and by the regents of the state of New York, and upon the recommendation of the provost, your deans and faculty, I am delighted and proud to confer upon you one of the following degrees as appropriate: Bachelor of Business Administration, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science and Education, or Bachelor of Engineering. You are now entitled to all the rights and privileges of those degrees. Congratulations to you all.
Will the graduates please step forward to be recognized by Trustee Meyer and your dean? Your names will be read by Zarb School of Business Associate Dean Joya Bales, Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences Senior Associate Dean Stephen Costanoble, and Lawrence Herbert School of Communication Associate Dean Mark Oppenheim.
Graduates of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Ashley Ewan. Caitlin Maraldo. Dana Spiro. Scott Cantor. Edward Farquharson. Stephanie Iacarino. Alexandra Donier. Lauren Crampin. Emily Sisternino. Andrew Kelly. Ivorita Rhine. Song Sung. Soni Sung. Sharona Lassing. Holly Haynes. Kelly Corgaran. Raymond Messenger. Michael DePace. Andrew Ruiz. Anthony Pasqualino. Monica Diaz. Charlie Walfish. Sebastian Gobitz. Anastasia Calcasola. Andrei Sheshgalsika. Berkay Sabat. Omar Marcia. Alexandra Rosenthal. John Bernard Sinone. Zachary Ney. Shokath Ahmed. Philip Ortez. Charles McGinnis. Sherihan Taha. Christopher Barnes. James McKenna. Clevin Loveday. Joseph Aragona. Philip Manarino. Daniel Goldberg. Joshua Callahan. Eddie Servino. Anada Mandiata. Nader Toussaint. Nora Heidel. Tabitha Rose. Naomi Kunkel. Michael Golubowski. Stephanie Kokoval. Carol Carter. Jerry Kulabaz. Joffrey Barakat. Stephanie Althado.
Sarah Zakreski. Kelly Chappé. Maura Munsard Pritchard. Nicole Kakase. Rachel Feltman. Mohana Priya Sain Nagarajan. Manpreet Singh. James Shin. Jeffrey Green. Stephanie Duke. Joseph Gutierrez. Joseph Sacco. Kevin Lopez. Edward Corella. Elizabeth Proctor. Elena DiMarcico. Carissa Lackey. Julia Elliott. Tayo Francis. Xu Han. Scott Simon. Jonathan Savini. Nicole Garcia. Casey Tallarico. Jarrett Chatham. Willie Robinson. Maria Skura. Justina Ames. Carolina Machado. Megan Tien. Sanika Wright. Maria Martinez. Giuliano Bove. Brandon Carlo. Alexandra Massimillo. Andres Maldonado. Trevor Gittleman. Danielle Denenberg. Sherilyn Vargas. Christine Alexander. Maria Minutoli. Anna Bautista. Samantha Mueller. Zachary Sakan. Joanna Hanchar. Sarah Tada. Alex Mullen. School of Education. Giselle Vasquez. Teresa Schmidt. Daniel Rivera.
Richard Blake. Brittany Sanders. Jenna Politoski. Annalise Goral. Victoria Kornfeld. Francine Russo. Allison Sandler. Megan Silver. Samantha Mendolia. Desiree Panika. Graduates of the Frank G. Zarb School of Business. Jacob Lopez. Kiefer Carranza. Sam Kaplan. Justin Cooperman. Thomas Capobianco. John Marino. Lara Alotka. Alexis Otero. Edward Dietz. Matthew Padone. Sean Donahue. Arely Gutierrez. Sherelle Butler. Latifa Turney. Kelly Alvarez. Sean Butani. Stefania Pecora. Anthony Hernandez. Orly Colati. Rosella Pasafiumi. Luke Roberti. Payaping Pething. Jomo Lennon. Matthew Gershik. Diana Gonzalez. Natalia Camacho. Matthew Ventrella. Lauren Decker. Kenneth Jackson. Gregory McPherson, Matthew DeGasto, Christopher Sims, Mark Levin, David Elliott, Christian Mendez,
Dominic Durcol, Peter Marzari, Nikki Wong, Tae Jha, Daniel Bellato, James Robinson, Kelly Davanzo, Megan Muscat, Joseph Chambray, Russell Linder, Nicholas Leno, April Hazen, Tracy Robertson, Lean Ariel Britoz, Samuel Mills, Vincent Diamadio, Juan Meja, Christopher Hanchuk, Monpreet Kaur, graduates of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication, Tyler Bett, Jeffrey Layton, Reagan Ham, Amanda Donato, Dijan Bolur Janone, Dana Gibbs, Tatiana Brown, Tiffany Wigfall, Maria Pratap Amalja, Maura Navavara, Caitlin Day, Megan Mondragon, Connor Lynch, Ariel Cruz, Keegan Bettinger, Alyssa McNevitz, Cassandra Madsen, Ashley Armstrong, Michael Hayden, Nicholas Negri, Catherine Matus, Christopher Swenson, Haley Fitch, Alexa Sacconi, Kyler Polick, Adriana Sapola, Joanne Cucci, Peter Piro, Kevin Collins, Rafael Peralta, Nicholas Velastro, Andrew Fertitta, Stephanie Ross, Holly Holtzinger, Elizabeth Marino, Shanice Ross.
The graduates of the School of Health Science and Human Services: Jacqueline Tierney, Maricela Benitez, Renee Elrick, Luke Klump, Christopher Nevis, Emily Caffrey, Martine Dennis, Natalie Alvarez Plaud, Natalia, sorry, Maria Nelson Amaraj, Jacob Boley, Allison Fleece, Brittany French, Ingrid Moyer, Jenna Dillon, Angela Powley, Brittany Greenlinger, Winifred Wimes, Jasmine Duperval, Calandra Duncan, the graduates of the School of Engineering and Applied Science: Craig Morrow, Daniel Janata, Anthony Byer, Eric Reutman, Victoria McGuire, Kakasha Iram, Rachel Zabo, Folaruncho Atanda, Nurasaba Mondal, Stephen Shishko, Bogdan Modzaleski, Gokmin Akhtem, Marcellus Belfield, Malvin Pinkay. Congratulations to all the graduates.
Mr. President, members of the Board of Trustees, administrators, faculty, graduates, and guests, Hofstra University is proud of its honors students. We take this time to recognize 4 groups of honors students who have distinguished themselves during their undergraduate careers here at Hofstra. The first group of honors students have achieved honors in their respective majors. Honors in majors awarded to students with distinguished academic records overall who complete a departmental honors project or thesis. After an oral examination or defense on the thesis topic, these students are awarded honors or high honors in their major field of study. Will the students receiving honors in major please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Thank you. The second group of honors students are those receiving bachelor's degrees with distinction. They may be identified by the blue and gold scapular worn over their graduation gowns. These students graduate from Hofstra with a distinguished overall grade point average. Cum laude is a 3.6 grade point average. Magna cum laude is a 3.8 grade point average, and summa cum laude is a 3.9 grade point average. Will the students receiving bachelor's degrees with distinction please stand to be recognized? Thank you. The third group of honors students are Hofstra University Honors College graduates. They may be identified by the HUHC medal and the gold scapular. HUHC students must pass strict admissions requirements, maintain high levels of academic achievement, and complete an honors curriculum. Will the Honors College Associates, Honors College Graduates, and Honors College Graduates with distinction please stand to be recognized? Thank you. And the fourth group, and this is really a preview of the graduate degrees, the fourth group of honor students are those who will be receiving their graduate degree with distinction. These students have a minimum grade point average of 3.75. Will these students stand to be recognized? Thank you. And now for the graduate students. Will the candidates for the Master of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Science in Education, Master of Health Administration, Master of Business Administration, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Health degrees, and the Advanced Certificate please stand? Mr. President, I have the honor to present those candidates. from the Zarb School of Business, the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication, the School of Education, the School of Engineering and Applied Science, and the School of Health, Sciences and Human Services, and the Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences who have completed all the requirements for the master's degree and the advanced certificate. I join with the faculty and deans of our schools and colleges in recommending that you confer the appropriate degree upon these candidates.
Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Hofstra University and the Regents of the State of New York, and upon the recommendation of the Provost, your deans, and your faculty, I am delighted and proud to confer upon you one of the following degrees as is appropriate: Master of Science, Master of Arts, Master of Science in Education, Master of Health Administration, Master of Business Administration, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Public Health, Advanced Certificate, or Professional Diploma. Congratulations to each and every one of you.
Will the graduates please step forward to be recognized by Trustee Meyer and your Dean? Your names will be read by Zarb School of Business Assistant Dean Brian Caligari, Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences Associate Dean Stephen Costanoble, Lawrence Herbert School of Communication Associate Dean Mark Oppenheim.
Graduates of the Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Ankita Nayar. Mai Mencabo. Lisa Napolitan. Graduates of the School of Education. Crystal Henderson. Diane Kubinski. Mara Stolberger. Greg Gershwitz. Devon Walsh. Michael Mineo. Ashleen Betts. Brianne Day. Caitlin Orlando. Danielle Dahlia. Melanie Euberg. Jessica Wallace. Lindsay Moore. Melissa Yorio. Sophia Spanos. Jillian Davis. Cassandra Toussaint. Armanda Morco. Kenyangi Park. Susan Dix. Edward Burnett, Jr. Brock Mayers. Renee Wendling. Maria Tata. Julie Camacho. Christina Carey. Elizabeth Jerome. Rebecca Kelly. Monique Clark. Stephen Mulberger. Christina Carnavale. Amelia De Palma. Kimberly Vrabel. Lindsay DeSarbo. Graduates of the Frank G. Zarb School of Business. Michael Capozzi. Alexandra Farber. Michael Rowan. David Katz. Kevin Goldston. Stuart Bertram. Lee Fiebert. Eileen Lorito. Eric Kotkin. Brian Buckelman. Tiago Scabia. Jamie Johnson. Jacob Vogel.
Peter Silver, Nicholas Panapinto, Paul Romano, Kirk Lee, Erica Scotus, Veronica McMahon, Chen Wang, Jingya Zhang, Stephen McKeefrey, Glenn Weberman, Gary Lubrat, Danielle Bowers, Benedetto Zabatino, Barry Durain, Emmanuel Lichtick, Travis DiGiacomo, Christopher Monteith, Melissa Albaladejo, Hira Chima, Fernando Fernandez, Francijo DeFay, Robert Rubenfeld, Regina Jing Wang, Yifan Yang, Boei Wang, Zhu Yuan Zhu, Yutong Kai, Rishu Su, Ling Zhang, Nan Gao, Zhu Zhu, Lisha Wang, Xiaoqi Yu, Min Du, Di Hu, Yuan Zhang, Bingwei Dong, Li Pang, Zhu Zhang, Fanjing Ge, Jiaochen Gao, Rui Liu, Tuo Zhao, Jingchang Ku, Hao Liu, Xizhuang Xin, Benjamin Posner, Savannah DaCosta,
Irina Slobananyik, Hayo Du, Yan Shin Chen, Shubangi Sharma, Snehal Patal, Yang Ki Huang, Ji Chen, Li Day, Dian Su, Tianyi Yang, Aio Zhang, Yushan Chen, Ding Ding, Kai Shao, Rui Dang, Jiao Feng, Xuan Go, Xinyao Chang, Yang Xu, Tan Song, Shiki Li, Jing Tian, Yilon Han, Rifeng Yu, Li Hong Tsui, Ding Ji Gao, Yang Shu, Dr. Nancy Keck, Daniel Obed, Mu Tang Xiong, Spencer Friedman, Gabriella Amato, Catherine Krenicki, Bo Zhang, Ling Ling Li, Shanjiao Jiang, Wen Tian, Xiao Yu Yu, Huanyang Lu, Qian Zhao, Shiyu Zhao, Jingyi Li, James Velser, James Donovan, Chengzi Song, Xixian Tong, Kan Tsui, Junji Gao, Ji Wang, Guangkao Lu, Yusheng Xiao, Qi Shu,
Mary Montessa, Zhang Chen, Ski Lo, Jun Zhu, Ting He, Yi Li, Han Zhang, King Wu, Wenjing Wang, Jin Fen Sun, Zheng Bang Li, Wenjian Zhu, Yu Zun, Kai King Wang, Fang Yun Ding, Ji Wang, Dan Yanji, Yan Wu, Yi Jing Yang, Gurpreet Multani, Kian Hong, graduates of the Lawrence Herbert School of Communication, Lauren Brookmeyer, Anisha Kumar, Stafia Charlie May, Christina Koloquadis, Philip Rappaport, Shanice Conyers, graduates of the School of Health Sciences and Human Services, Loren Skinia, Tony Kumar, Sarah Goyer, Michelle Betts, Brittany Hagman, Edie Hardeman, Hedda Victor, Dominique Marquetta, Brittany Adler, Jessica Ostad, Leah Miller, Erica Zadaneo, Amanda Dugan, Nina Scolio, Nuzat Qaderi, Maria Akanazadeh, Anu Anis, Jashana Harris, Megan Hickley Pace, Jessica Riedel, Kama Bernard, Brittany Colon, Leanna Palmer, Megan Christholm, Priscilla Marie Lara, Janica Jarry, Eunice Nakasha,
Vipin Moinin, Anil Ahmed, Christopher Napoli, Gregory Tillelli, Angelo DeRico, Lauren Valinati, Crystal Malachek, Megan Volpe, Benitha Babu, Jonathan Harrell, Altaf Lakhani, Yen Lei, Atifa Islami, Mohammed Rafe, Rachel Zundel, Denise Chanchadi, Nicole Stilianu, Kelly Carlin, Rochelle Corlett, Letitia White, Marcy Berg-Catcher, Yingji Li, Sonia Lasman, Beatrice Thompson, Manpreet Kaur, the graduates of the School of Engineering and Applied Science, John Camerano, Kuldeep Kiani, John Wong. Congratulations to the graduates.
Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor and JD MBA please rise? Mr. President, I have the honor to present those students of the Maurice A. Dean School of Law at Hofstra University who have satisfied all the requirements of the degree for Juris Doctor and JD MBA. Upon the recommendation of the faculty, I ask that you confer the degrees upon these candidates. Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Hofstra University and the Regents of the State of New York, and upon the recommendation of the Provost and the Dean and the faculty of the School of Law, I am delighted to confer upon you the degree Juris Doctor or Juris Doctor MBA. Congratulations. We ask that each of the graduates come to the stage to be introduced by Lawrence Kessler, Richard J. Cardali, Distinguished Professor of Trial Advocacy, and then hooded by Lisa Montecciolo, Associate Dean for Students and Administration, and to be recognized by Trustee Meyer.
What is this? What? What are you supposed to do? Stand on that so you can hood him? This is the Morris A. Dean Law School. Shanice Scott. Denisha Stewart. Orly Tabor and Kiana. Janine Cap. Anthony Troyes. Hirsch Perek. Allison Milano. Jacob Vogel. Catherine Krenicki. Gabriella Amato. Spencer Friedman. And Jennifer Mayer.
Will the School of Education candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Education please stand? President Rabinowitz, I have the honor now to present to you those students who have satisfied all the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Education in the School of Education, and I am pleased to join with the faculty in recommending that you confer the degrees Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Education upon these candidates.
Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Hofstra University and the Regents of the State of New York, and upon the recommendation of the Provost and the Dean and the faculty of the School of Education, I am delighted to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Education or Doctor of Philosophy. Congratulations.
I ask that the doctoral advisors come forward to assist in the hooding of the educational and policy leadership, literacy studies, and learning and teaching doctoral degree recipients. Will the candidates please come forward to be introduced by Senior Associate Dean Corin Spencer.
To be hooded by Professor Teresa McGinnis, Dr. Marilyn Bono. Congratulations. To be hooded by Professor Jean Henry, Dr. Melissa Cheese. And to be hooded by Professor Monica Bern Jimenez, Dr. Tamika Francis.
Will the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences candidates for the degrees Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Psychology please stand? President Rabinowitz, I have the honor now to present to you those students who have satisfied all the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Psychology in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and I am pleased to join with the faculty in recommending that you confer the degrees Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Psychology as appropriate upon these candidates.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of Hofstra University and the Regents of the State of New York, and upon the recommendation of the Provost and the Dean and faculty of the Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, I am pleased and proud to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Psychology. Congratulations to every one of you.
I would like to ask Dr. Mitchell Scher, Director of the PhD Program in Clinical Psychology, Dr. Robert Mata, Director of the PsyD and School Community Psychology, and Dr. Song Liu, Director of the PhD Program in Applied Organizational Psychology, to assist in the hooding of our doctoral degree recipients, who will be introduced by Senior Associate Dean Dr. Stavros Valenti.
Hofstra College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Dr. Victoria Fries. Dr. Kristen Perret. Dr. Rebecca Skolnick. Dr. Robert McKay. Dr. Philip Glickman. Dr. Robert Cavera. Dr. Jason Teague. Dr. Al-Jamila Youssef. Dr. Karen DePina. Dr. Lindsay Feynman. Dr. Megan Muller. Dr. Jamie Holzer. Congratulations, doctors.
The H. Allen Robinson Outstanding Doctoral Dissertation Award was established 28 years ago, and it continues to be awarded annually due to the generosity of the late Professor Emeritus of Reading, Dr. H. Allen Robinson. Dr. Robinson, a nationally recognized authority in reading, was a former chair of the Hofstra University Department of Reading and a former interim dean of the School of Education. The purpose of this award is to encourage and honor a doctoral candidate who has submitted an outstanding dissertation worthy of scholarly and professional recognition. I am pleased to present this year's recipient, Stephanie Angulo, who received her PhD for a dissertation entitled Relationship Among Factors Affecting Teachers' Attitudes Towards Students with Autism. Congratulations to Stephanie on a job well done. Please come forward to be congratulated by President Rabinowitz and Provost Berliner.
All right. I want to thank the audience and the graduating classes. You've been incredibly respectful and polite during the ceremony and reserved. So I think I would like to have one final round of applause for all the graduates feel free to That was great, but I may never do that again. One last tradition that we have at commencement ceremony. So may I ask the platform party to please rise? Everybody has to stay where you are. So today has been a celebration of our graduates, and our focus has been on our graduates, of course, and it should be. But as Maya Angelou once said, nobody makes it out there alone. And we know that our graduates wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the love and support of their family and friends. So we want to end this ceremony by having the graduates stand, turn around and face your friends and relatives and give them a big hand.
And for our baccalaureate degree recipients, to make your commencement complete, I ask you to move your tassel from right to left. Congratulations again. Now, following the ceremony, there will be a reception for graduates, guests, faculty, and members of the platform party at the Mack Physical Education Center that's immediately adjacent to the arena. I'm going to ask that the audience remain in place until the academic procession has left the stage. Congratulations and happy holidays.